Every one of them.
You could probably go to every one of their houses.
I bet you that's just a culture.
I've been shipping.
It just bothers me.
Oh, yeah.
Yep, we're ready. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Village of Ruidoso special meeting. It's 8 o'clock, January the 25th. If you'll stand with me for a moment of silence and the Pledge of Allegiance and the salute to the New Mexico flag. Pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I salute the flag of the state of New Mexico, the Zia symbol of perfect friendship among united cultures.
Thank you, everybody. Can I get a roll call, please, ma'am?
Mayor Crawford,
Here.
Councilor Eby. Here. Councilor Letterman.
Here.
Councilor Salas.
Here.
Councilor Hooker.
Here.
Councilor Coughlin.
Here.
And Councilor Jackson.
Barely.
All right, good morning, everybody. Is everybody checked their lockers and your cabinets and closets for secure data?
Secret documents.
You know, when I go to Alamogordo, you can't even take a cell phone. Remember that time I accidentally forgot to take my cell phone in, and they were going to destroy it because I might get a picture, I might get a something. So, thank you, federal government.
Alamogordo where?
At the Holloman.
Oh.
Yeah, I went on there and I was talking to somebody and walked by this sign and they closed the door and it says, "You better not have your cell phone, you better not." And I said, "Oh, I got it." And they took it away from me and it took me how many days to get that back? And their policy was they destroy it. But yeah, we got people going in, skiffs, secure data that are walking out with this stuff.
Yep.
Okay, roll call, please.
Did that.
Oh, we already did it all? Okay, well, I feel much better this morning. Thank you, everybody, for letting me in again about all the crooks that we have in Washington. Item number 1, discussion and possible action on adoption of Resolution 2023-02, a resolution amending the fiscal year 2023 budget quarter ending December 31st, 2022 for certain funds and application to the Local Government Division, LGD, of the New Mexico Department of Finance and Administration, DFA, for the approval thereof. Good morning, Judy.
Good morning, Mayor, councilors. In front of you are all the budget adjustments from October 1st through December 31st.
Where? We don't, well, what they gave us was this one,
Yeah, I think it's on.
but it's on your computer.
Oh, it's on the computer?
It's on the computer.
Well, I looked though, on Novus, there's no attachment or.
All you have to do is scroll down and it's on here. I've got it.
Okay. We'll give everybody a minute, but you can go ahead and tell them how we had an IFC meeting and
This is the second quarter budget adjustment, and we did review these adjustments at the IFC meeting on last Friday. It is their recommendation to go forward with the budget adjustment as a recommendation in ending approval and sending it to DFA. So this is the second budget adjustment of the fiscal year. So it ended up being increasing expenditures up to the level of 17.3 million overall for the village. A lot of those expenditures were due to grants that we were awarded, in particular the FAA grant for the reconstruction of one of the runways, which we'll talk about a little bit later. But you'll see on this budget adjustments, again, if we get a new grant, you'll not only see an increase in the revenue, but you'll also see an increase on the expenditure side. So is everybody there? Is it okay if I move forward?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
okay. So we'll focus our discussion on, you've seen this resolution report. It's titled Department of Finance and Administration, Local Government Division, Financial Management Bureau Schedule of Budget Adjustments. And it goes by fund and category, and it lists out exactly what each adjustment that was made during the quarter is for. So we'll go ahead and get started. On the general fund itself, we had changes in all categories between revenues, transfers in, expenditures, and transfers out. The first one was that revenues were increased by 3.3 million. And that was by adjusting our fiscal year 2023 GRT projections up by 3.3 million. Our Keep New Mexico Beautiful grant increased $9,000. And we adjusted the fiscal year 23 special events revenue projection to 26,000. And we received a repayment from one of the clean and lean properties. They paid us back for the cleaning expenditures at $7,100. So just a side note, we did get our GRT last week, and we received 1.5 million again. So right now, we have collected $11 million just in GRT with the last 5 months to go. So we are actually up on GRT 11% over last year. And last year, we had increased almost 15% from the prior year. So we're trucking along,
Yeah,
so.
pretty awesome.
Yeah, it is.
So hopefully we'll keep up through the end of the year. I think a lot of the events that we're hosting and a lot of the construction that we're continually pursuing and going through has really helped our GRT this year, so.
Mayor. Judy, on mine, it says that Keep Ruidoso Beautiful increased 5,000.
Oh, is it 5,000? I gotta get new glasses, I guess.
Okay.
I'm doing this thing, I have bifocals, I can't see, so I gotta take my glasses off to see, so sorry about
Okay,
that.
I just
5,000.
wanted to say, hey, where's my other $4,000?
Sorry about that. And then the transfers then increased 354,000. So DFA a lot of times tells us how we have to record certain aspects within our budget. So one of the things is cannabis tax. I cannot record it in the general fund. It has to be recorded outside a different fund. Because I believe they want to keep track of how much each municipality and county is receiving. And easily, if it's in a different fund on their system, they can report to the legislature real quickly how much everybody's receiving. So although you have to record it in a different fund, you can bring it back into the general fund to expend it. So it's just kind of an accounting reclass. So that's why you see a cannabis excise tax fund bringing the money back into the general fund. Later down in the presentation, DFA Fund 280, which we just record in our regular intergovernmental grants one, you'll see the tax coming in and then it going back out. So it's just a kind of.
How much is that?
324,000. We're averaging anywhere between $25,000 and $27,000 a month.
So that 324 is for the year?
Yes.
It ended up averaging about 25,000 a month. Some months, we had $800,000, and it's dropped off in the last few months.
So that 25,000, is
So
that
we
what we
get, so on
Yeah, so-
cannabis tax, there's a 12% excise tax on it.
All right.
This is the excise tax money, and it's divided 33.33 to the municipality, 33.33 to the county, and then the state keeps 33%.
Okay.
So you ask yourself, where's that 0.01%? And how much, that'll come back as a
Yeah, so where's the,
windfall somewhere, hopefully.
yeah, so,
Junior Bill, thank you.
Yep.
okay. And of course, with some of our revenues increasing, we did increase some of our expenditures. Outside agencies, we added another 4,500. The fiscal year 22 rollover, Chapter 4 rewrite, 80,566. The reimbursement of the clean and lean expenditures, we're paying back $7,100 into that line item. And we reduced the HVAC at the library by 200,000 because we had set aside 330 and they only needed whatever the difference was, 130. And then, of course, additional expenditures for the Keep New Mexico Beautiful grant. Our transfers out, when we were looking at the outdoor grant, we found out that they needed installation money on the restrooms, so we transferred 50,000 to the Special Recreation Fund. And last year, we had paid the match on the Links Construction Grant, and I didn't notice that until I reconciled my quarter. I had recorded that we would have to pay the match again, well, that we would have to pay the match in '23, but in my research, I found out I had already paid it, so I'm just reducing the match. We paid $600,000 towards the Stinson property purchase. And when we were going through and balancing out the airport, they were short by $70,000, so we just shored them up. And then we transferred $200,000 for the affordable housing decks on the mobile homes. And also in reconciling that fund, I noticed that I hadn't transferred the money for the land purchase, so I did it this fiscal year at $348,350.
What land purchase?
1114 Meacham.
Got it.
So now that fund is all a whole. Everything that was owed to it is paid, so we're good. I think we still have a little bit of money left in that first million that we had. I don't have the figure offhand, but at the next meeting, I'll do a little recap on exactly where we're at in case you want to do some more projects and stuff.
So the original million that the village put in, we have some
Yes,
of that
we
left.
still have some of the money. I don't know exactly what the total
Even
is.
after the decks and porches and everything, the one that, great.
And with the remodel of 603 Meacham and stuff. And now we are actually getting the revenues coming in off those properties, so they've been very consistent. We had another renter go into one of the cabins, so 2 of the cabins are actually being rented out right now.
Nice.
Good. So
What-
Judy, I'm sorry.
No, it's my
I
fault.
was going to question on the, reduce the HVAC at the library. So we heard yesterday that that's going to be a long ways out and they're reducing it. We've already put money up on that? We've already paid money towards that?
We've got money set aside
Side
for
to
it.
side.
Oh, it's set aside, okay.
yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I just didn't know if it was already expended, because
No.
it's under expenditures, so that confused me.
Yeah, we were just having it in case we thought we were gonna get
It's
going.
set aside, got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, these are all budgeted amounts, so.
Mayor,
And again, anything in the general fund that we don't expend, that's set aside for a project will be rolled over from 23 to 24. Wow, 24 already.
Yeah.
what about our lot on, by North Park?
Sunny Slope.
Yeah, Sunny Slope. Does this cover everything with that lot and the trailer?
Well, we've
and
already got the
everything?
house purchased
Right.
for that, and the lot we own, and so I don't know where we're at on infrastructure there.
Yeah, because nothing's,
Mayor Crawford, members of the council, we don't have any type of agreement with White Sands or anybody to do any of the site plan there yet. We did the survey, and we do have the home, so our next step is to make sure we get all that area cleaned, and we have to do the utility locates and things like that in order to set the home. And then we have another idea that we're looking at too,
Yeah.
for that area there, so. But we do have the 18th mobile home, that was the plan, was to set it there, so.
and where is that home?
I don't know where it's stored at.
They still haven't, they haven't delivered it yet.
Oh, okay.
But they're getting close to, within the next couple weeks.
Okay,
And then we'll hear from Adam. I think he'll talk about a need
okay.
out of his place. So there's some things that we can do that's come to light, that we've been looking at, different types of housing. They're basically fireproof that we can do for the same price as a mobile home. So it's pretty interesting stuff.
So Ron, that one unit that's still coming, when does the warranty period kick in on those? When it's delivered
No.
or when it's connected?
No, when Leonard goes and does a final inspection, and then he checks for any cracks, takes pictures. If there's anything there, then he puts in for repair. The manufacturer has their people fix them, repair them, do everything for them. And then he goes back and does his final inspection. He checks off on it, sends it to me, and then I sign off on it. But he's inspected.
No, I get that part, but isn't there like a 1 year or 2 year warranty?
Yeah, after it's done.
After it's all completed? Okay,
Yes.
so if we're not ready with the lot and the thing sits for several months, that doesn't affect the warranty period?
That's something, Mayor Crawford, Councilor Coughlin, we'll look into that. We may have an idea to get that
Done pretty quick.
set sooner than that when Adam has his presentation.
Okay.
It's one idea that we're thinking about, but we're going to have to get it set and fairly soon, so yes.
Well, the same thing happens with the property next to Dollar General, is those were delivered a while ago, but they haven't been inhabited.
Right.
So has the warranty started on those?
Some.
Because some of those warranty issues aren't gonna show up unless they're occupied.
Well, they've already, some of them until their water is pressurized, that won't start. But I know they've done all that, because they all have a little something
I'm
wrong with
thinking
them.
appliances and stuff like
Yeah.
that, you know?
Yes. And we don't have the water, like the mayor said, we don't have the
Hasn't
water.
turned on just yet, and so all that's geared with the completion of it. But as far as them setting them and walking off of the construction portion of it, some have been cleared.
Okay.
And then we'll have the water hook turned on as soon as the electrical, and that's what we're waiting on,
Yes.
is there so that we'll be able to keep them heated.
Yeah, you don't want them left unheated.
Electric.
Although you don't want to be heating something until it's ready to be occupied too.
But we got Leonard on doing the inspections, and John.
We have received the money from the state, the $1 million. We've received the money from the Mortgage Finance Authority, the $400,000, and we've drawn down on the legislative appropriation, like $100,000. So we're, all the money's coming into on all our other grants and stuff, so we're doing good on that project.
Okay.
The next fund that had some changes was SGRT. We had, already had budgeted within the fiscal year '23 budget, some $350,000 for a storm drainage master plan. We were just recently, told that we have received a groan on it. So we received a grant in the amount of $250,000 and a loan at $100,000. This is actually a leveraging project, so we won't, extend the SGRT out. As soon as the plan is done, we'll pay off the loan. So that's why you'll only see a revenue, because we already had it budgeted in the expenditures, so this is just increasing revenues. And then the bond issue costs for the Water Trust Board grant on Eagle Creek Phase 3, they came in at $8,501, so expenditures increased. And transfers out increased because the SGRT was lending the forestry grants, $336,000. The forestry grant had a thinning grant for the airport property, and we've already received the money. We received it on Monday, so this loan will actually be already paid off by the time this hits DFA.
Hold on, Judy, and once again, Mayor, this just rubs me the wrong way using SGRT for something other than water, for forest thinning. Maybe if we say it that it was for a watershed improvement at the airport or something like that, because I know if this gets out.
Oh, okay.
I'll be getting quite a few calls saying that, hey, you can't be doing that. And that's what concerned me when we were in the ICN meeting and stuff, so that way we don't jeopardize that income.
And in the future, I'll take that, and I won't do any interfund loans with this fund anymore.
Good.
It's just, I can't show zero cash in a fund, and they were the
Right.
one that had the extra funding, so.
And that's what you
Yeah.
explained, and
Yeah.
but once that funding comes in, you're immediately putting back. But, I mean, even just the perception of it,
Yep.
being a loan and coming in, I'd rather it really just stick to water projects.
On this, I can actually change it if you would like.
It's already done. I mean, I'm voting yes for it.
Oh, okay,
but
okay.
Just in the
Oh, okay.
future, I'm just letting you know, it
Okay.
rubs me the wrong way
Okay.
when we do that, so.
The next one is the fire fund. They actually got a state fire grant for an SCBA refilling tanker, so you'll see an increase of $201,000 on both the revenue and expenditure side. The special library fund, they got their fiscal year state grants and aid allocation, and it came in at $10,255. And then we move on to the lodger's tax, and revenues increased $300,000 based on our projection for the year increased by $300,000, and of course expenditures also increased. At a recent lodger's tax meeting, the board recommended that Wingfield House furniture and fixtures would be taken out of the lodger's tax fund at $48,000. There was also another allocation of $19,085 for the flooring. And then they also recommended the Billy the Kid Visitor Center repairs at $124,198. And in balancing the fund, we were able to close out some projects and some expenditures that we weren't going to need, so we reduced some of the overall expenditures by $81,750. So overall, the expenditures in the fund only increased by $109,000. There was a transfer out for the Stinson property at $300,000, and then as the revenues increase in this fund, the admin fees are based on actual revenue. So when the revenues increased, the actual admin fee to the general fund increased, and it increased by $30,000. In our special events fund, revenues increased because we tweaked our revenue projections for the upcoming spring and summer events, and we budgeted revenues at $150,000. And then, of course, all those expenses for those events came in at $160,000. Our next fund is the special recreation, which holds the Whibbit and some of the activities at Grindstone. And this is the $50,000 for the additional match on the outdoor rec. So there's the $50,000 coming in. And then on the intergovernmental grants, the revenues increased because we received a legislative appropriation for the senior center kitchen equipment at $32,826. And then we received a legislative appropriation for the Midtown building facades at $230,000. And then we received a New Mexico Economic Development Grant at $80,000 for RMA. So our transfers in decreased because I had already paid the match on the Lynx Trail construction grant, and the expenditures increased $342,826, the same amounts by those previously read grant opportunities. The intergovernmental grants, this is the cannabis projection for the whole fiscal year at $324,000 revenues coming in. And again, the transfer out, going back to transfer the money to the general fund. Our DWI grant, we received a fiscal year 22 reversion grant. At the end of the fiscal year, any funds that we don't expend on the grant, we have to pay them back to the state because we're advanced the money up front. So we had sent this money back to Santa Fe, and now they gave us a new grant of that same amount to spend in this fiscal year. So that's an additional $58,000 to that fund. And then, of course, the next fund is the forestry grant about the timing issue on the grant reimbursement. And then the next fund is GEO bonds. This is where the debt is held. We issued the Series 22 GEO bonds in December. And you'll see that the bonds are issued in Fund 499, but the money is actually expensed out of the capital project account. So the net proceeds after we pay all the bond issue costs, we transferred $1.4 million. So this is $1.4 million that's ready to be used for new water infrastructure projects. And we usually have 3 years to expend the money. At my last reconciliation of all our series, we are at the fiscal year 21, finishing up, expending those. So we are getting ready. I believe there's a Pine Cliff project that's coming up that will help us spend down that money. So we're moving along on those. The CDBG fund, I was just closing out the grant and balancing the fund, so I had to reduce revenues and expenditures in order to close out that grant. Our next fund is the General Capital Improvement Grant. The revenues went up by $1.3 million. We received an NMDOT grant for Hull and Reese at $1.3 million, and we just budgeted some interest income at $30,000. You'll see the transfers in coming from the general fund on the lodger's tax at $900,000 for the Stinson property purchase, and then our expenditures increased by $2.4 million. The property total was $902,801. We have some money set aside for the Sutter sidewalk project at $82,045. And then, of course, the expenditure of the grant for Hull and Reese at $1.5 million. And then in closing out some of the projects, we reduced some of the project balances by $96,000. The next fund is the debt service for the GEO bonds, and this is just the GEO bond issuance. We issued 1.5 million, and we had bond issuance costs at $72,866, and of course, the net proceeds were transferred to the capital improvement fund above. On our airport, we received an FAA grant for the runway reconstruction at $7.9 million, and the state's grant share of that same grant and project is $757,000. You'll see the additional subsidy from the general fund to balance the fund, and then, of course, the expenditures for the runway reconstruction are $8.8 million. The housing fund, we received the additional donation from Ride Ruidoso at $28,000, and of course, the transfer in for the decks and the land purchase. And then the expenses increased by $200,000. We did an affordable housing market study at $6,100, and then some additional expenses for the property at 1114 Meacham at $209,620. The treatment plant received a clean water loan for the solar project at $4.8 million, and I believe it's 0.1% on the loan payback. So, solid waste increased by $155,890, and that was to purchase their share of the building. And then the internal service fund increased by $18,000. The employee comedy show was $12,500. The Christmas party was $1,230, and the safety appreciation was $4,383. If you recall, when we were going through COVID, Blue Cross Blue Shield gave us 2 COVID reimbursements, $40,000 each, for just staying on with them. So this is where that money's coming from.
Good.
And so, in a nutshell, that was the whole budget adjustment. So if you have any questions.
I don't.
Okay. So we get a motion to approve and accept.
Mr. Mayor, I'll make a motion to approve the resolution 2023-02, a resolution amending the fiscal year 2023 budget, quarter ending December 31st, 2022, for certain funds and application to the local government division, LGD, of the New Mexico Department of Finance and Administration, DFA, for approval thereof.
Second.
Okay, any final discussion? Good job, Judy.
Okay, thank
Everybody
you.
in. Roll call, please, ma'am.
Counselor Hooker?
Aye.
Counselor Jackson?
Aye.
Counselor Eby?
Aye.
Counselor Letterman?
Aye.
Counselor Salas?
Aye.
And Counselor Coughlin?
Aye.
All right, thank you very much.
Thanks, Judy.
I'm gonna take a quick break and then we'll get started on,
Do we have to wait till 9 o'clock?
do we have to wait till 9 o'clock when it's posted?
I believe so.
Oh, so we can roll right in.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so if anybody wants to go, go to the bathroom, get you a cup of coffee or something, and then we'll come back, start with Adam Sanchez. Yeah, you have to bring me a pen. I left my pen on the desk.
So you interested in going on?
This is,
We're skipping this one, right?
yes.
I was wondering how we were gonna handle that.
I just want to skip it, and that's on right here to you. Although I'm good. I'm just moving slow, man.
We are too. I got here and me and Yvonne were like, what day is it? Because it feels like it's.
Oh, I know.
Everything is stiff, you know, it just takes me forever to get going in the morning. That's what bothers me. And then this deal's getting worse and worse.
What, your tongue?
On my hand. No, my tongue is finally getting better.
Oh,
I feel like some old decrepit old man falling apart. It's just crazy.
let's see your hand.
Well, you can't, it looks better, but you see those little dots that are there? You can't see it when you roll them over. See
Oh,
those
I
little
see,
knots?
yes.
There's like 5 of them in my hand that are popped up. Boy, they're painful.
Huh.